That was perfectly in sync.
I know. We're back.
We're back from Scotland. We've had a Scottish holiday since the last one.
We've done so much since the last one because it's been a month. We are all caught up. This episode is going out next week.
It's a better lead time than last week when you messaged me like, I don't have your audio and it's going out in like 17 minutes or something.
Yeah, and it was still
on time.
It was 15 minutes late.
Oh, okay. Well, I think
which is weirdly not the latest it's been.
Well, I mean,
but it was once 12 hours early, so
once. Okay, well,
yeah.
When you balance that up, so that's 12 hours in hand. That's all right then.
Yeah, well, 11:45.
Well, 11:45 now. Yeah, sure.
No, I think I can't. There was. Oh no, it was co-directors that we missed one just entirely. He was like, "Yeah, it's not happening."
What? Oh, sorry. Hang on. Oh fuck.
Oh, that's a man doing fan things.
Yeah, because I do need a bit of a breeze because it's still quite warm. But did we miss a co-directors because we just decided the film was rubbish, or did we just straight up? Which one was it? I can't actually remember.
Oh, that is
asking you a question.
Yeah, I'll look at the spreadsheet.
I've got a feeling it was because it wasn't actually a very good film at all. I think we both hated it.
Yeah, I can see. We deleted it off the spreadsheet. Whatever it was that bad. Oh, it was something. No, I can't remember.
It wasn't the controversial Spider-Man episode.
No, because that's the thing. We really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was really good fun.
Yeah. Weirdly, speaking of that, I watched an episode of Power Rangers where all the Red Rangers get together.
Oh yeah.
It was really cool. I watched it like last week when I was in the pits of... Not week before last when I was in the pits of COVID. Because that's the souvenir I got from Scotland.
Yeah, I got a necklace and a new belt, and you got COVID.
And a tattoo.
Oh yeah, and that.
There's a really nice little painting.
And a big petrol bill.
I don't think it was that bad. It clearly wasn't that bad. I got the tattoo.
Yeah.
Like, no fit, didn't even check my bank account. It just went, yes.
We had a look for Nessie, didn't we? We didn't find Nessie, but we did find a big pink beach ball that came in the car with us for some inexplicable reason, which I think you then knifed.
Yeah. Oh, because we
decided it was taking up too much room.
The car got fuller.
In between campsites. When we'd used up stuff, the car was fuller. It made absolutely zero sense.
So the ball was the obvious sacrifice. And you got told not to just let the air out. And you were like, yeah, we'll just blow up later. And it was like, we don't know who's been smooching that ball.
That wasn't a problem when we picked it up, though, was it?
No, because when we picked it up, it was funny. It was when it was a choice between like someone's stuff going in the car and
or
the
a
beach
big ball.
It's like, I think we can leave the ball.
Did you? I think you did. Did you manage to have haggis every day that we were in Scotland?
No, there was one day I didn't.
Ah, that's going.
But I can't remember which day it was. I think it was the day we went up to Smoo and back.
Yeah.
That day, I don't think I got haggis in the evening.
We did have our very own America Werewolf in London situation, though, didn't we? Like, we went into this. It was the best. We went into this pub looking for something to eat, and it was no joke. If there was a piano, if there had been a piano player, he would have stopped playing to turn and look at us, as long with everybody else in the pub, just like, oh fucking hell, do you want round it? Hello, are you serving food? No, sorry. Like, okay, we'll be on our way. And
yeah, that was the weird. Like, the kitchen's closed Monday, Tuesday.
But then, like, I was really, really enjoying the tension, like, because everybody was looking at us, and I was like, "This is amazing."
I would have loved to have been able to sit and eat in there.
Yeah. Just hearing like our knives and forks and not hearing anything else.
Our knives and forks, and just the weird conversations that we have, just existing in that space when no one else is talking and everyone's listening, and I'm just there like, no, my parents were married just around the corner, I swear, even though I sound like this.
I sound like them.
Please accept me as one of your own. Look, I'm ginger.
But then
I can't go in the sun. I'm already sunburnt.
But then they all started like giving us directions to other pubs that might do food, but they just kept arguing about where these pubs were. Oh, I really, really enjoyed that. That was very, very good fun.
I think the disagreement over which one was the main bridge was my favourite bit of their argument.
Yeah.
And then, everywhere they sent us to, busy. Couldn't get a table.
Yeah, Inverness needs to sort out its sort of catering infrastructure, because you cannot get food in Inverness. It is a nightmare.
And it doesn't even matter what day it is, because that was the Tuesday.
Yeah, apparently Mondays and
couldn't get
Tuesdays.
food anywhere.
It does matter. So,
Wednesday?
Fine. Food coming out your ears.
Yeah, except they turned the fucking lights off in Bella Italia.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
And then we had to go
back to Spoons.
We did end up in Spoons, but I think there was a bunch of other places that we sort of looked at.
We did try another couple, but there was that other pub we went into. It was like, oh yeah, kitchen's closed. And we're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but we did the smart thing there. We had a pint.
Me and Jack had two.
But you and Jack have a drinking problem.
Your drinking problem is you don't drink enough.
Wow. Everyone's got their own.
Just as an aside, there is a trailer that is on. It's Gamescom opening night, and I think Bethesda is something's happening, because it just said from a studio that brought you like Fallout, Elder Scrolls, all that sort of jazz.
Oh.
So maybe cut that out, but keep an eye on it. We are talking about some sort of western-y style shows.
Yeah. So basically, like, Scotland was good research for them.
Yeah. Deadwood and Outer Range, and something I know about you is you do not enjoy westerns.
I know. Do not. So should we start with Deadwood then, the westernist one?
So a boring week for you.
That's the thing. Like, it's not that I don't enjoy them; they just don't interest me in the slightest. But Deadwood is fine.
Yeah,
that's all I've really got for you.
That's pretty much where I am with it. There's a lot of characters you're introduced to straight away.
Yeah. Is it weird that I was surprised at how rude they were?
How rude? Why does it surprise you that cowboys were rude?
Because that's not the sort of westerns that I've seen before. Yeah, no, but these were cursing and everything. It was very not PG-13. I think. Were they swearing in this?
Yeah, they definitely were.
Good. I haven't misremembered and got it confused or watched the wrong fucking thing.
Ian McShane is amazing in it. He's always amazing.
Yeah.
He's the bar owner, right?
Yeah. Because that's the thing. There are definitely people in this that I recognise.
Quite a lot. It's quite a good it's quite the ensemble cast.
Yeah, and I imagine it got some of them before they were like famous.
Well, I think this is the thing that
and
made
some of them
Timothy
never
Olyphant
became famous.
Anna Gunn is in it in later episodes. She was in Breaking Bad. Yeah, it's very much like. Oh, it's Age of Empires 4 has just been announced.
Yeah, it's very sort of just not for me.
I tell you what. This is going to sound like quite a strange comparison, but this is what it reminds me of. Is, you know how we talk about shows that just drop you into a world and just goes, keep up. This is absolutely one of those. So it's similar to like The Wire or shows that we've discussed like that, where it's literally there's not really much explanation other than the intro where you realise, okay, this guy's the sheriff, but then the fact that there's a guy in jail who has a posse coming after him, so the sheriff gets him out in front of them and they're like, right, so we're going to kill him now, and the sheriff just goes, nah, it's alright, I'll just hang him. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's weird because it kind of made me want to watch Westworld again.
That's really funny that was your reaction coming out of this, because that is exactly what I thought. I was like, oh man, Westworld was good, wasn't it?
Because I don't know if it's like I like the setting, but I don't like a show that's just the setting. Right. That's almost how I feel like westerns are. They're just shooting at each other dressed in cowboys. But something like Westworld has like a whole other like story behind it. Like, how if you take like, well, like I probably talked about it on here, like Rogue One's a good war film.
Yes.
And you just give it a little bit of a smattering of Star Wars, and you just go, look, it's Star Wars, and everyone goes, oh yeah, and forgets it's a war film.
Yeah.
That's what I think Western shows and stuff need to be to make me interested. Like Westworld's
it's all sort of style over substance, generally with Westerns, is it?
Yeah, that's to me anyway, which I think is almost exactly what Westworld thinks of Westerns. Because they just go, look how stylish it is, but also barbarism. And it's weird because I think I keep coming back to Westworld as like I should watch that, but never get around to it.
Yeah, I have a similar thing with Westworld actually. That's very strange. Our relationship is quite similar, but then Deadwood doesn't feel to me like it's doing cowboys and stuff for the sake of the setting or whatever. I do feel like the characters are probably going to come out of this quite three-dimensional and quite developed. Like, I mean, immediately I'm sort of intrigued by the sort of the dealings that Ian McShane's character's doing and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's almost.
But I also find it quite boring, which is really weird.
Yeah, it's weird because it almost maybe just like there are too many characters and too many like threads of things going on, because there's the stuff at the bar that seems like illicit things going on in the background or the foreground as well, because a brothel's quite an obvious thing to have. But then there's Mr. Sheriff who wants to go to the lawless town, just doing mental shit and going rescuing people. And it seems like there's just going to, at some point, be a weird, like, sheriff battle with Ian McShane at some point. But I don't know how he can go from being a sheriff who wants to, like, just go live somewhere mental to then almost just end up as a sheriff again.
Yeah.
Unless his whole thing is, I'm trying to tame the town.
I do quite like the sort of the restrained, like, how when two characters are so obviously on opposing sides, but for like political reasons they can't act at that point in time, and they have to sort of put on a face and repress it until it then just explodes. I do really quite enjoy that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the trouble is how from the pilot there's no way to know that there's going to be like interesting through routes and stories and stuff, because it could be like an adventure of the week sort of thing. Almost said monster of the week, but there are no monsters here.
There might
just
be.
All of the people. But I think it is. Yeah, there was just nothing that made me go. Episode 2.
Nothing
you
to
should
grab
watch that.
you. Yeah.
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 Which I think.
I've got to admit, I struggled with that. Yeah.
I think we have almost forgone the luxury of like giving things a couple of episodes, because what we've become is hypercritical. And we've just gone like, you've got an episode, and if I don't love this shit, you're done.
Yeah.
You're in the entourage bin.
I definitely think that has happened with us, for sure. The number of times like someone will ask like, oh, have you watched this? And I'm like, well, I've seen the first episode. But actually, I think we've gotten pretty good at spotting what is a good thing to, you know, what's good to include
What
in
we
your
like.
pilots, what grabs
Yeah.
people, you know. So
Yeah.
I think
I
I just
that
didn't
maybe
feel the
it's just
hook.
too many characters.
But then this is the thing that I keep coming back to, is like with The Wire, like I didn't really feel a massive hook with The Wire, but at least that world was like tangible, and there's parts of me that did want to persevere with it, because I'm like, okay, I'm sort of intrigued as to where this is all going. With Deadwood, I'm just a bit like, it was kind of a lot of like browns and dark colours, and it was a bit dull, and I didn't care about anyone at that point. I was like, yeah, okay, you're all repugnant people, like, and I don't really necessarily like any of you, so it's, and you don't necessarily have to like a character to be intrigued about their story, but you do have to engage with them. And I just sort of, other than Ian McShane, I was like, I just don't. Yeah, it just didn't grab me in that way.
Yeah,
Which is a shame, because by all accounts it's actually quite a good show. But
yeah, I think maybe the issue that we've got is that a lot of the ones that tend to grab us quite quickly, especially when they're just like, here's a world, figure it out, are modern worlds, generally speaking. They're worlds that we're already sort of familiar with enough, in like a sort of John Wick way, that you kind of like, I can see this and I understand the visual language you're saying, but these coin things, I don't understand how they work specifically. So it's almost like they give you, like, a lot of shows seem to give you a world with like one thing different,
yeah,
and toss you in, but to toss you into a world that you are unfamiliar with, apart from in games and films, and quite a, like, westerns are, it's big, there's a lot. Arguably almost too much for maybe a show to sort of stand out on its own without doing anything super different.
Yeah, I think maybe a bit more sort of stylized camera work and that sort of thing. Maybe, but then again, we're getting into the style over substance to make it sort of, yeah. I think it's just not for us, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to people about it since I watched the pilot, and they're like, it's a bit slow to get going. I'm like, cool, I'm done with it.
Yeah, like, when like you hear from people, oh, in series 3 it really gets going. I was like, I'm not wading through 2.5 series of shite to get to a payoff that's like, okay, that's quite good,
Yeah, although I don't think they're 36 episodes.
Yeah, it's not made, but this is famously, Deadwood was like cut short, wasn't it?
Yeah, although looking at it, like, the main character, a lot of people last either like 11 episodes, or they pretty much last the run. So, like, Ian McShane and Timothy Oliphant, they're both listed at 36 episodes, so they survived the whole thing.
And there was a film as well, so I wonder if they went into that.
Yeah, so I
so.
don't. Yeah, I think it's probably just another one that's just not for us, which might just be there's a lack of, like, maybe we've watched too many. And also maybe we're too opinionated. Which isn't a thing. But also we're opinionated because of this.
Maybe after, 7 series we're realising that judging the entire series on its pilot episode, maybe it's not the fairest, but fuck you, we're going to carry on doing it.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I hope maybe we should go back and re-record our first episode so that no one just does the same to us.
Yeah. I mean, do you know what? I've completely forgotten what I was about to say then. That's really weird. Oh well.
Was it something along the lines of, speaking of weird plot things to hook you into a TV show?
Oh, look, there's a big hole.
Yeah.
Outer Range, right? I couldn't believe this when I started watching. So I heard about this on, I think it was the IGN UK podcast. And I was on a flight, a very long flight. And I was like, well, I'll just download these to a tablet and watch them on the flight. And I watched, I think, 3 or 4 episodes on the flight. And it's Josh Brolin is a
God
rancher. He's a rancher in Wyoming. His rival sort of farms, like they've sort of, there's a family who live over the hill from him, who they have, feuded for quite a long time. One day, members of that family come over and say, we have looked at our sort
maps.
And looked at sort of the history of our pastures, and actually what we've realised is that your fences are on our land, so we need you to move them back. And obviously he's like, absolutely not. It's the west pasture, is it? Or is it the east pasture? Can't remember.
There's a pasture.
There's a pasture that he's like, absolutely not, that's mine. So he goes to look at it, and there's just this big hole in the ground, and it's not clear where it's come from. It's very, very much not a naturally occurring hole because it's perfectly circular. And so he throws like a stone in it, and he doesn't hear it hit the ground or whatever. So yeah, bit weird. So then,
but then you've got I mean, it's not a cold opening because it still happens, but the first shot of it is him running towards this hole. With carrying something that looks very suspiciously like it's probably a body.
With his shirt off. That's the other thing, isn't it? He's got his shirt off and he's
well, he did all that effort for Deadpool 2, so
it's got to pay off somewhere, isn't it? So it then transpires that his 2 sons are, one of his sons is a rodeo dude. I don't know what they're called, but he rides the bull for a living. He goes to a bar, gets into an argument with one of the sons of the neighbouring farmer, punches him, he hits his head, and he dies. So then he drives him back to the farm and is like, what the hell do we do about this? Because I do not want to go to jail. And so Josh Brolin's solution is to take it out to this big old mystery hole and just dump him in there.
What is the worst that could happen? I mean, I haven't seen episode 2, so I don't know yet.
Oh my god.
I will find out.
So when we were talking about, how would you do something slightly different with your story to grab us and that, I'll tell you what you do with it. You put a big fucking mystery hole in it.
Yeah. I think you throw a body in it.
This show, isn't it? It's so good.
And it's got a cast.
It's got a hell of a cast. Our favourite, Noah Reid, who was in Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. He was slightly overshadowed by me just being like, it's just Brolin. On the telly, it's
Thanos.
Josh Brolin. He could just snap that body away, but no, he's throwing it in the big hole.
He's put it in a big bin.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously 100% just going to be time travel, right? Like that's...
You're going to have to do your normal thing and finish the rest of the series by tomorrow. So...
Fine. But there's definitely going to be time travel. I'm putting it out there. Because you see like a Brahmin at some point, I think.
You see a what, sorry?
Like an old... I thought it might not be this, though. That you see like a old buffalo or Brahmin or something.
Yes.
That shouldn't be there.
Bison, I think,
that is there. Yeah. I thought it was probably something that was... They had hunted to extinction with the AR-15s and that.
That's right.
Americans do American in.
Yes, that was it. I'd completely forgotten about that.
So I think there was... I from that extrapolated that there's obviously going to be time travel. So Thanos or Cable is going to do some time travel.
Also, his daughter's been missing for quite a while. So I'm sure she's not going to pop up.
No, probably not. Also, very interested to see what Imogen Poots is doing there, because she's just like, hey, can I camp in your field, mate? And he's, yeah, sure. And then just fucks off. But randomly just pops up. Does she at the end, am I misremembering, or does she push him into the big hole?
Yes, that does happen at the very end of the episode.
Cool, I'm not misremembering. I thought I was like, does this happen? Am I going to sound like a fucking moron if I say this out loud? And then said it.
Yeah, no, that does happen. It's been a little while since I was on that flight when I watched the 3 episodes, but I definitely want to finish this show because it's just so weird. Cause it feels very much like a Stephen King story. Because it's the small town America sort of thing, but then, you know, a weird sort of alien element to it. And alien, I mean, I don't use that because I you know, got some knowledge that it's extraterrestrials or anything.
You mean alien as in abnormal?
Alien as in strange, yeah.
Yeah. A good usage of it, but also if this was a Stephen King,
yeah, it
could very well just be, but aliens.
See, I only know of one other Stephen King book that ends with, and then aliens. So, I mean, we're giving him this big reputation of ending his stories with aliens. Literally 2 books.
Yeah, but...
But one of them was, I grant you, a 32-hour audio.
Yeah, I mean, Under the Dome ending with aliens was just the most heartbreaking ending to a book. So I was just like, the fuck do you mean? Like, it undid all of my enjoyment of that book, and it was really good, very good book. Mediocre TV show, very good book.
He came up with that idea like years ago. Like, I've got a feeling like it was like nearly his 2nd or 3rd book, and he tried writing it. He was like, I think he said, I'm not good enough to write this one yet.
Did he weirdly read like Lord of the Flies in and around that time and then just went, but Dome?
To be fair, he does cite Lord of the Flies as like one of his biggest inspirations, like realising that, you know, you can write
People
about
suck.
horrible shit in books.
Yeah. Yeah, Under the Dome's definitely big Lord of the Flies vibes.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Outer Range is just so fucking good, and there is some really weird stuff that happens in, like, you know, even by episode 2, you're like, what the fuck is going on? But
I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing. Episode 1 escalated quick. I was like, oh, this is the setup episode. We probably won't. I was like, maybe they've done like that hot cut at the beginning of the show where they just go, yeah, this is how the season ends. Like, you're going to see him get to, I'm throwing a body in the fucking hole.
But then it happens at the end of the episode.
And then it happens at the end of the episode, and then that weirdly made me more interested.
Yeah.
Like, I was already sold. But then when he starts running across the field, I was like, oh shit, he's doing it. Why has he got a shirt on? Because at the beginning he didn't have a shirt. I just don't want it. I'm not only watching it because Josh Brolin takes his shirt off.
It does get explained why he takes the shirt off, though. So.
Is it because he was hot?
No, I'm pretty sure you see why he takes his shirt off.
Oh, he got stuck on barbed wire, didn't it?
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, he's got the most, what I imagine to be, like, I live in the country reaction to finding a big, like, weird fucking hole in your garden. Just being like, I'll throw a rock. It's probably fine. And then I think it had, like, a weird, like, time jump, or... Because he kept going out and then, like, losing time while he was out there. Like, just being near the big hole.
I actually don't remember that, but, I mean, I'll believe you.
It's because, so he goes out to feed the horses or walk somewhere, ride a horse, or and then he comes.
It's quite apparent that you do not spend much time outside.
he does something with a horse. Then he comes back and he's like, "Ah, cool. What's for breakfast?" And they're like, "We've got to go. We're late for school." And he's like, "But he got up like so early." But maybe I'm just adding to my time travel theory by being like, but he's losing time near it.
I just hope that it's a satisfying thing and it doesn't just turn out to be something crap. Like, because in the next sort of, it's either in the next episode or the one after that, you start to get even, the slightest understanding of what might be going on. But yeah, it's a really, really good show, and actually, like, it's a really good pilot. It's a really good pilot.
It's quite a sneaky one because it feels like it's going to be very like understated, and it's just Josh Brolin being like, "I live on a ranch. This is probably no big," and then it's just like, boom, alien hole, time travel warp hole. And then you just go, oh, fuck. And then they kill someone in episode 1. And you're like, okay.
They're not fucking round.
No, they are not. But then that's the thing. I also think that... Is there a point that Amazon becomes the new Netflix? Remember when Netflix just produced bangers? And every show they released, you were like, yes, this is one of the best shows I've ever seen. But... recently, I mean, I'm not slating them because Gilmore Girls Year in the Life season 2 doesn't seem to be materializing.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit worried about that. Like, it's just not happening, is it?
No, but then it took them 10 years to make the first one. I was just very lucky in that I really got into Gilmore Girls, and they released more in like the same year. But that aside, because they'll get to it. Or I'll hunt them all down and throw them in a big hole.
Or drown them in coffee.
They don't seem to be producing new good shows. They're producing a lot of documentaries, a lot of true crime documentaries, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, we're starting to get into some of those. We've watched a few of them now, and it's some of them are great, aren't they?
Yeah, some of them not. Some of them are like, I shouldn't watch this at bedtime. But whereas I think Amazon are starting to like really get rolling with like doing these big shows, because they've been doing it for a while, but I didn't really get on with Man in the High Castle. But then they did. It's only really now I'm thinking about it because like Lord of the Rings is imminent.
Yeah, that's very close now, isn't it? That's very exciting.
And they've just done Wheel of Time, which got me into the 12,000 hours of audiobooks, which have slowly taken over my life. But that was really good, and I think this is really good, and it's so not like a big fantasy thing. And I think that they might be becoming better than Netflix at doing telly shows.
That's very interesting. I mean,
but they might also just be doing what I like, which is throwing lots of money at things.
Yeah. I do think Netflix probably still has the upper hand on like number of shows that original Netflix shows that they're making.
Yeah, but I think Amazon were a little bit more tentative at getting into it at first, because I think Amazon really have to prove that something's going to work, whereas Netflix like, meh. Was it? Netflix really started off like. The big originals I remember being was Daredevil. Yeah,
I'd sort of forgot those big Marvel shows existed. But then, like, okay, so when you think of, the big hitters for Netflix now, when you think of like your Stranger Things, which is probably the biggest show that.
Yeah, Netflix have done. Genuinely for a second there, completely forgot about Stranger Things.
What's the Amazon Prime equivalent? Like, when you think Amazon Prime TV, what's the first thing? I mean, obviously your head will go to Lord of the Rings straight away.
I still think arguably Lord of the Rings is probably going to be not currently, but it's going to be their big thing, because it's so everywhere now. Like it's done a thing that Stranger Things hasn't quite managed, which is to get all of the racists angry.
I mean, like, because when you think about sort of the early days of when Amazon started making their TV, like, I think the earliest thing I remember is The Purge. Like, there was the Purge TV show, wasn't there? And then there was Preacher, and there was another. I might be thinking of The Boys, actually. Yeah,
The Boys is there as well. They did Carnival Row. Yeah, Boys is theirs.
But is that their, like, Stranger Things? Is that the biggest thing they've done so far, do you think?
I think it might be so far. I think Man in a High Tower seemed very big very early on.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
But I think we might have just...
for 10 years ago, I think.
Yeah, I think we might have just seen a lot of it because it was like...
It was their
Amazon's
big
first thing.
Maybe that was it then. And then there was another show called Into the Badlands that I remember got pushed a lot. Black Sails wasn't made by Prime, was it? It was just on Prime.
Yeah, still haven't watched that.
Yeah, I still haven't watched that Dracula that I've got the DVD of.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think they've all got good stuff, and they've probably all got stinkers.
Yeah.
Like, Netflix definitely have stinkers.
I do feel like Netflix, in sort of recent months, haven't been putting out the best sort of stuff. I feel like it's ramping up again now. Like, but I just feel like, sort of start of this year was a bit like, oh, there's not much coming out of Netflix that's for me. I think
Netflix weren't ready for the competition. Because for a while they had sort of Amazon sort of making a cut, like they were making Man in the High Castle, starting to make some other things. Was Handmaid's Tale, was that a Prime original?
No, I don't think so.
But that's I think...
Because that was shown on Channel 4, wasn't it, over here?
I don't remember or watch normal television.
No.
But I think they just seem to have almost like the monopoly on it, and then Amazon sort of got some big adaptations to make. But Amazon were making films, I think, more than they were wanting to make TV shows. But I think the way that... I mean, definitely for me, I think I prefer to sit down and watch weirdly like 8 hours of a TV show than like a 2-hour film. But not going into it knowing I'm going to watch the whole 8 hours, but...
having the option.
Yeah.
I think it does benefit from sort of having chapters, doesn't it, TV? Because it's like reading, isn't it? It's like, okay, well, I'll finish the next chapter, and you're like, okay, well, I'll do one more episode, and then... Yeah, it is funny how, like, the sort of compartmentalisation of it helps you watch more but not notice.
Yeah. But no, I think Netflix is probably back on the up. I guess the trouble is they lost Marvel. I think there was quite a across the board draw to like the Marvel content they were making, and now Disney Plus are just shitting on them.
Yeah, I mean, I still have a big old thing of like Marvel fatigue. Do you know, because they don't appear at the minute to have sort of a goal that's aiming for, because there's not the imminent promise of a villain like there was for Thanos. For what? When was Thanos like properly? It was like 2012. He was first in the Avengers. But it was Guardians, I guess, was when we properly first met Thanos, wasn't it? 2014.
Well, I think it was.
I mean, 5 years of him.
Guardians was the first like hint at what his goal was.
Yeah.
Everyone sort of knew it, but yeah, you knew it was coming by Guardians because Power Stone was there.
And he's in it.
Yeah. Arguably, yeah, that's the bigger thing, I guess.
But yeah, I really do struggle with Marvel just being a bit rudderless at the minute, and yeah, it's like there's all these multiverse things going on, but there doesn't seem to be any sort of stakes for anything. So I'm saying this without having seen like Thor. Yeah,
I'm quite enjoying the sort of it's almost like a superhero holiday without doing a holiday special, where they've sort of got like they've got time to do their own thing. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, Disney Plus is the only reason we're not like your Marvel fatigue is one of the reasons, and also that I can't fathom how to pair Disney Plus Marvel shows off with anything without shitting on something else
that isn't another Marvel show.
Yeah, because they're all the Netflix versus Disney Plus ones. Might be a good dynamic to go for, but we've done all the Netflix ones.
Yeah,
they're all interesting, but they're all very like Marvel. There's not a lot of things you can take away and be like, oh, if you took away this, it would still be that kind of show. Like, you take away Powers and Jessica Jones, is still a decent PI with a drinking problem. But if you took away like Miss Marvel's powers, it stops really being a. It's not. A lot of the interesting bit of the show comes from her powers. Not to say there's not other stuff that gets explored, but it's all because of her powers. They really drive the show. But She-Hulk did answer the question of when Steve Rogers lost his virginity, and that is very important.
Is it?
No, but it's funny.
When was it?
1943.
Wait, and when did he go into the ice?
1945.
Okay. How does that come up? How do they start going, oh, I wonder when Cap started shagging?
It's genuinely just like Jennifer Walters is just like asking Hulk questions.
How does Hulk know?
Because he's friends with Steve Rogers.
Because it was he lost his virginity to. Big old green boy.
Yeah, but the thing, I quite enjoyed the first episode of that. But the show, I have no real interest to talk about, like, although we have massively diverted into talking Marvel.
We have a bit.
But Josh Brolin, so tangible
There's a
link. But yeah, I think they probably won't turn up on the podcast list because there's not anything to pair them with that won't just get sort of shat on.
Yeah.
Unless we just did like a big Marvel summary. Just watch all of the Marvel Disney Plus pilots and just be like, here's the good ones. It's all of them. Goodbye. But I think
that could be a little bonus episode, you know, if we just do sort of a quick rundown of the Marvel stuff. I mean, I'd have to watch the Marvel shows for that to work.
Yeah, and yeah, you're gonna not a lot of, too much to catch up on now. But I think we're pretty much run out of range.
We've definitely
killed this wood.
Talked the way around.
But I think,
much.
Deadwood, probably not for us. Outer Range, very much for us.
Yeah.
If you would like us to watch your pilot, put a big hole in it. We'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Make it, put a big hole in it, yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
And then put a donk on it.